Hey guys, and welcome. Grim Reaper here. We got ourselves another movie review. That's right, another movie review. We got ourselves M3gan. Yeah, I saw that the other night, and it was actually a really good movie, really solid movie. Really enjoyed it. Now, if you're going to this expecting a horror movie, which I thought it was gonna be a horror movie, it's not a typical horror movie. It's not really horror. And yes, PG-13. So it's more of a leave it up to your imagination. Less is more kind of with the kills that they're going for with this one. The kills are there, but they're not. They're just more like leave it up to your imagination. Kind of most of there's one scene that was actually not up to your imagination to actually show it, but the other ones are not really shown. So as far as the movie goes, it's not your typical horror movie that you expect, like a Chucky movie or any other horror movie that's out there. It's more, man versus technology kind of movie, in the same vein as Terminator and stuff like that. So it's kind of like that kind of a horror movie where people said Terminator is a horror movie, but it's more of an action-based horror. Kind of, the only horror is, man versus, the technology, AI. This sits in the same vein as, iRobot, Terminator, of course, Eagle Eye, 2001 Space Odyssey, The Mitchells versus the Machines, and of course, Age of Ultron, and of course the sad Chucky reboot movie. Then you have the two protagonists played by Allison Williams, who plays the Aunt Gemma. Then you have Violet McGraw, who plays Caddy, and they both share something in common: the loss of Caddy's parents. Now, Gemma is very focused on her job, career orientated. She's also more focused on the technology and not really, she's not really focused on human emotions. It's not really, that kind of a thing. Caddy's dealing with her issues, and they're both dealing with the loss. But with Gemma, she's not really dealing with it like normally, and she, you can see that she's feeling it, but she's like, whatever, right? Caddy, on the other hand, she's full into her feelings. She's hurting, she's suffering, and her Aunt Gemma doesn't know how to deal with it, doesn't know how to help her with it. They form a small little bond in the beginning over Bruce that Gemma created back in the college years, a big old giant robot. This, sparked Caddy's interest. She goes, man, if I had a toy like this, I wouldn't want anything else. That really sparked Gemma's, interest in the toy that she was working on that failed, that they decided not to do. She said, I'm going to focus on this and try to get this done. Now, she's working for a toy company called Funky, and they have like this creepy looking Furby Teddy Ruxpin kind of doll where it looks like it's like a jacked up looking Furby, but talks like Teddy Ruxpin basically. And yeah, they're trying to develop a cheaper version of that one, and cooler looking as well trying to find the next big thing after this. And Gemma thinks that this doll M3gan would be one of the next big things. And of course, using the AI and all that with toys is kind of like, no. So she starts developing. She makes it. She gets it done. Now we get to see the interaction between Caddy and M3gan. For the first time, we get to see it. We see how the pairing and everything that works and how it's going to interact with her. This eliminates some of the flaws that would probably come up with, well, why couldn't they do this? And it shows you that, she pairs with her and she can only respond to the child. With, of course, parental overrides, could be put in as well. But that's it. Nobody else could tell the doll what to do or anything like that. It's locked into one person alone. Now, we saw in the beginning of the movie where the AI wasn't where it should be or could be, and they had to work out some bugs. So we saw that early on that, there's a lot of things that they got to work on. Now, M3gan was played by 3 people, 2 physicals and 1 voice actress, and definitely gives us a little bit more believability of her in the scene because it's not relying too heavily on the CGI, and it's more of a person actually being there. Sound design for that robot was pretty amazing as well. When you get like close-up scenes, you could hear her servos and everything moving and stuff like that, which is really cool, really awesome. And yes, the whole design of M3gan was really cool. Kind of unsettling sometimes when you see it, but also reminds me of the AI dolls that they have that they show in the dentistry, where they're working that on the dolls and stuff like that for the teeth. For the one, if you all saw that little video of that doll screaming in the dentist chair, that's what kind of looks like, and definitely pretty cool. Would it be believable as a toy? No, But as far as a toy company, marketing, trying to think of the next big thing, very believable. But as far as this going, maybe years and years and years and years from now, that will probably be a thing. But that goes without saying. But you see the disconnect between Gemma and Caddy. They're not really bonding. They're you can see that there's nothing there between them, and I think they did a really well job on showcasing that. Yes, they are family and all that, but she doesn't have that kind of closeness with people, and Caddy is looking for that kind of closeness. And then they have a psychiatrist that kind of helps talks about the psychological issues and stuff like that going on. Now let's fast forward to the kills. Her parameters that were set for her, she takes into that and then she builds upon it, like in all the AIs that you see in every other movie. And it is kind of crazy, how they showed all this. But there's lots of stuff that were similar, like with Terminator. Some scenes like from Terminator that were using this one, like her using different voices to lure her victims. Then you have the whole same thing like Eagle Eye, where Eagle Eye was able to check people's calculate different people's outcomes, stuff like that. She's able to do more in the vein of the TV show Lie to Me, where she's able to read people's facial expressions and body temperatures and be able to see the percent, see their emotional states and see which one is the percentage wise where they're at. And yeah, that was kind of cool to see all that and see it, see certain like fear and trust and all that, like flip over depending on the percentages, which is really cool. Those were some of the cool things that they had for this. So that gives us a little bit more instead of like how M3gan operates. Now, was also pretty cool. They also said most people's like, well, how do you keep it charged? They actually show in the room where M3gan sits is a base where she sits on, and it charges her at night. When she gets up, the lights turned off, that she's not charging anymore. But that's how it goes. And those are pretty simple facts. Now, storyline is very simple, nothing too complex, and that's what makes this movie really well done. And where the Chucky reboot failed is AI. Chucky was not an AI killer. It was a killer trapped in a doll. That's why that one failed. And I think with them, seeing that kind of, idea in the Chucky movie, the Chucky reboot movie, saying, we could do this one better, and they did. Minus, the elaborate kills or anything like that you would get in a rated R movie. Those are the minor differences that, that make this, PG-13 versus rated R. Could it have been rated R? Yeah, we could have gotten more violent scenes and stuff like that. But, it still was a solid movie. Now, with that being said, the movie had, the budget didn't, you could tell it wasn't like, a lot of money spent on the movie like you would get for like they do with Chucky. You could see that they spent a lot of money on it. This one was very shot very simple. I think they went real simple to keep the budget down so they could focus on what's more important for this movie to get this movie going and make it impactful. I'm not saying the budget was garbage, but it was a solid budget. But it wasn't like over the top budget where it didn't need to be over the top, which was really good. I think that's where this movie benefited on certain areas for this movie to be successful. Now, as far as casting goes, I think they did really good. Ronnie Chang did his character was he was more like opportunistic, but not sleazy. I don't know. He was that kind of bossy, kind of like, I don't know. It just kind of explained, but I loved his performance. It was hilarious. I just liked how I went along with it, and just how he just, I want the next big thing. I want you to do this. He's trying to be a hard boss, but he's kind of like, trying to vie for the next position into the company. You could tell that he wants to move up the ladder, basically. But he wasn't like a hated boss. It's kind of the boss. You're like, I've seen bosses like that. You didn't hate him that much, but kind of like, I can't stand him really. That's the kind of boss he was. But yes, then you have two of Gemma's coworkers, which were really solid. One who didn't want to, who was kind of like, most people were like, nah, you can't really do that. And how much damage can a 4'11" dog can really cause? And, how we sure is, it's just not a malfunction. It's, just something like that. And the other one's kind of like, well, AI and all this, who's to say the programming didn't falter or anything like that? Are you sure it's just coincidence, stuff like that? So you get to get those kind of believabilities. It's kind of hard to believe, but it's kind of, can we believe it? So it was kind of cool to see those kind of different kind of conversations going on. You're kind of like, well, and as us as viewers, we're seeing what's going on. Dude, what's going on? But again, it's kind of crazy. But overall, I think this was a really good movie. Will it be a franchise? I think it will be. I think it's a possibility for it to be a franchise. Will it be successful to be sustained over several movies? Possibly not. I think after a certain amount of movies, people are like, okay, I'm done with it. Can it be like the next Chucky? Can it be continuing on and on and on? Yes. But will it be good and successful each and every single time? We'll have to wait and see. But all in all I gotta say is this movie was a really solid movie. Very fun, very enjoyable. If you're going into the scene that there's going to be a horror movie, you will be disappointed. I've heard some people say that they didn't like the movie. They goes more of an action comedy, little horror. The movie wasn't good. I didn't like it. If you're going into expecting a horror movie, you won't like it. Because if you're expecting straight up horror, nope, it's not. It's really not going to be that. But if you're going knowing that it's not a horror movie, you're going to enjoy this movie for what it is and what it offers. And it's definitely fun. If you want to see my actual full written down review, I'm actually starting that up again, and it'll be up in the link to the description below. But I'll see you guys around. All right, guys, you take care. Bye.